Hi everyone, welcome back to the London Football Show. Been a while since our last episode. Obviously, a lot of football has been played and will be continue to be played. Obviously, no international breaks for like next 3 months, I think. So yeah, busy times. Could start anywhere to be honest. James, go on. Yeah, West Ham. Obviously, like two 6 pointers coming up. Like how are you feeling? Like, are you is it panic stations yet or?
No, not yet. It's been panic station since the start. Um, yeah, obviously we had a poor result on Saturday against Fulham. They scored near the end. I don't think either team deserved it, but a point would have been good. So it just makes every game now is crucial. Brighton tomorrow night, then Wolves away, then Forest at home. So big games really to be. You don't want to start saying 6 pointers, but there's gaps appearing now even from us, and even like a team like Burnley, I think are only a point behind us now, and people have already written off Burnley and Wolves. So it's going to be an interesting few games coming up. I think the home form isn't really helping us at the moment, and those key games like Fulham was at home tomorrow night is at home against Brighton. We then go to Wolves away, and they haven't won a game all season, and they've already beaten us in the League Cup this year at Wolves. So, you know, typical West Ham possibility there. And then Forest. So it's and then we play like I think we play like Chelsea and Spurs and all that. So it's going to be crucial time to get points. But he needs points. He needs points. He needs a good transfer window, and he just needs a bit of dare I say it this early, a bit of luck, really. A bit of luck. I think we're relying on too many. Well, we're relying on not enough players. Bowen. We're relying a lot on him. The midfield is pretty good. Like I can't complain about the midfield. Magassa, Fernandez, and Potts. I think they give us a lot of energy, a lot of legs that we didn't have before. But we just got nothing up front and nothing at the back. So it's difficult time. Panic. We probably should be panicking because it will be interesting to see what happens. But a lot of fans were calling it at the beginning. I think the beginning we lost to Sunderland away, one of the promoted teams. We lost 3-0, and then Chelsea beat us 5-1. So I think it was already sort of difficult times there, and then change of manager. Even with the change of manager before Nuno, when Potter came in for Locatelli, Potter didn't have a sort of a winning start, which you normally get that sort of new manager bounce, but Nuno's not really had it either. So who knows what's going to happen? But tomorrow night, big game, Brighton. Brighton, I don't think have won in December. I was reading something this morning.
Oh, wow.
My notes. I don't think they've won a game in December, so that might help us out a bit. But then we drew at theirs only a few weeks ago. We took the lead against them, and then we couldn't hold on. So who knows? Who knows what will happen tomorrow? But do the current three that are in the current three in the relegation zone at the moment, are they all going to go down? I have to be positive, so I have to say I think 2 out of 3 will go down already, and hopefully we might just be able to scrape out of it if people like Bournemouth continue to have a poor run and get dragged into it, and we can pick up the points at Forest, or when we play Forest at home next week, drag them back in. Leeds had a good result at Sunderland. And Fulham, I didn't realise even before the Fulham game they were 10 points ahead of us. They're now 13 points ahead of us. So they're nowhere near it. So I think it's just between us, Forest, and Leeds, maybe. And if Bournemouth continue to free fall, if they lose their best player in January, that might
Yeah,
help
going
us.
City, yeah.
That
Mhm.
might help us.
I
But
think I think out of those three that James mentioned, for me, I think Bournemouth will drop lower than Leeds and Forest, in my personal opinion. Just based on the whole situation of menu, I think, Arola, he hasn't really, found that same form that he had with the team last year. When you look at really outgoings, Kirkes, can't remember off the top of my head like the big name players, but I feel like,
Boyson. Hmm.
they had the money, they had the chance to sign. I don't think they kind of bought anyone stable. I don't really think they reinvested the money that they got from their players sold.
Yeah,
You
because they
look
had
at
the guys
Leeds,
like
like
Senesi
no,
and that.
like me personally, I would have never said Calvert-Lewin would, be a bargain. Like when you compare strikers, like for me, Well, based on form, Calvert-Lewin is doing better than Isak. I don't know how much Calvert-Lewin was sold of. I'm sure he might have even been free, but
Mhm.
he's outperforming strikers at the top. I think it's 6 games in a row he scored now.
Yeah.
He's literally keeping
They were
leads.
talking about him being in the England squad for the World Cup as a replacement for Kane because we
Jesus,
haven't
yeah.
got a replace.
What the
We haven't got a replacement for Kane. Who's the
Jesus.
replacement for Kane? If Kane gets injured, who's going to play up front for England?
It'd probably still be
Welbeck.
Watkins, man.
Welbeck.
Honestly, Welbeck, you
Welbeck,
know what?
Welbeck
That's
should go.
not a bad
Welbeck,
shout.
Welbeck.
Welbeck is not a bad shout.
It's Welbeck, Watkins, and Calvert Lewin.
Jeez, but do we need four strikers for a tournament, a 7 game tournament where we only play
You
one
need a
striker?
striker to. Who's your other striker then, other than Kane?
I mean, it's a
This is
fair,
this is what
Like a
this
striker.
is
A
England we're talking about.
striker.
Tony. Would they
Where's
take
he
Tony?
playing at the moment?
No, I get Tony out of it. If I, me personally,
He'd be
Bowen,
playing at
stick him
West
in the
Ham
number
in
nine.
January.
I think it should be. I mean, I know Carol Loon's doing well. But I think it should be Kane, Watkins, Welbeck. Personally, that would be my three.
You wouldn't have had them three at the start of the season.
You
Down
wouldn't, yeah,
the
you
Well, I would
wouldn't.
have had Watkins, but not Welbeck. I would have definitely had
maybe
Watkins.
Watkins.
Watkins, yeah. I
Hmm.
think if anything, Bowen. I think if Bowen really wants a chance of getting that squad, that's his best chance. He's not going to get in the wings.
True.
He's not going to get in the number 10. They're talking like
Yeah,
commentators are talking about Palmer not turning up to the squad. Like, okay, let's be real. He's gonna get in the squad, but the way they're making it seem like he's not gonna be there, injuries, form.
yeah.
Who
I
knows how
mean,
this England squad's gonna look?
I think he'll definitely be on the bench because, like, I look at the form, like Rogers, Foden,
Oh
all the
yeah.
guys that play in his position, they're all in better form than him. He's obviously been injury prone, so I can't see unless he does a man in the second half of the season. Yeah,
But he
he'll
needs
be
to.
on the
That's the
bench.
thing. He's been out for so long.
Yeah. Hmm.
He hasn't got the credit in the bank that he
Oh,
needs
I
to then
agree.
now come and
Yeah.
get. And you look at games like Villa, hooked off, didn't really have an impact. I don't think it was his fault. I'll be honest, I saw that game. Like he was not getting the passes he needed. He wasn't getting those free balls. He wasn't getting the support that he needed. And
Yeah.
I can't. Who was even up front for you guys that game?
João Pedro
Yeah, Pedro.
scored. It was
Obviously,
fluky,
he did.
bro.
Yeah,
He didn't know. He knew
scored.
nothing about it. It was a corner. It just hit him.
Came off his
Basically,
shin, didn't it?
yeah, it
Yeah,
came off his shin.
but
I was. I know James made a point about obviously, like transfer window, like what's the rumors from the club. Do you think you're going to be active in January?
Who?
Like West Ham, are you buying
Yeah.
players in
Oh yeah.
January?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He needs to reinforce, and he will be given money. It's
Mm.
whether he will be able to get the players he wants. There's talk of the guy he had at Wolves who was on the bench for Fulham, Traore, whatever his name is.
Or Dharma Traore?
Yeah, coming in. Then there's Cresswell, the youngster, who I think is playing abroad at the moment, central defender. I think he was at Leeds, real young player, meant to be really good. But we just need. You just got to remember is that when these players come to us in January, regardless of the fee we're paying or what we're paying, it will be in their contract that they've got the right to leave if they go down. So you literally those older generation like me listening to this podcast will remember the season West Ham were in dire trouble when they bought Paul Kitson and John Hartson. You're talking in the 90s, and they kept us up. They literally kept us up, and they were like old timers strikers. So you look at that now, and you look who else is out there now that's not getting in their starting 11 in their club that wants to play regular football that's a striker. I can't really think of many people, if any, that can
Yeah.
do a better job than, say, Callum Wilson.
Mm.
So it's a difficult. West Ham will have to buy. They'll offload a few. We know that. Igor, who was the player we got from Brighton, I don't know if he was on loan, whether we go back or we'll just get rid of him. Andy Irvine will probably go. James Ward-Prowse will probably go. We've already got rid of Nicolas Fourcroy, who's gone to AC Milan on loan. No option to buy at the end of that, but we've managed to get. We didn't get a fee for him, but they're paying his wages, a loan fee. So we've already got rid of him. You kind of sort of think, who do we get? It's literally will be to survive and then build. But then can we survive and Nuno build his team? Because Nuno's, look what he did at Forest. But if you think before then, look what he did at Tottenham. Well, he didn't get the time at Tottenham with Daniel Levy.
Mm.
He didn't get the time. Look, before that, he was at Wolves. Look what he did at Wolves. He did a good job at Wolves. So Nuno can manage. but you can only manage with someone else's squad. He's got Potter's squad that had Locatelli's squad. So it's like,
Mm.
can West Ham get through this? The transfer window will help, whether we spend big or we get players on loan or whatever, but we've got to hit that ground running. But games are
You
coming
say
thick
that,
and
Mr.
fast.
Datson, but do you not feel like the pressure was off when Nuno was at Forest and Wolves? Wolves came in, they were no one expected it. Same with Forest. And
Yeah,
then
but,
you
but what I'm
saw
saying is, Ross, is that Nuno must have done something. You look up like was it Cooper who was the Forest manager. In the
Mm.
end, they had to buy so many players. They had so many players when they came into the Premier League because they had so many loan players to get into the Premier League. So Nuno can manage players, can do something. So what's
I
not?
think it's bigger than that. I think when you look at Forest and Wolves, they're like for like, it's in the same way you would say West Ham and Spurs are like for like. Big club, big
Spurs fans will be
stadium,
fuming, man.
big money.
Mhm.
There's a lot of pressure. You could even say stingy owners. There's a lot of comparisons. There's a lot of similarities between these four clubs when you look at it head on head. I feel like Nuno's done extremely well for what he's done for Wolves and Forest. But then we also saw, Forest one was definitely harsh. Now, I can't remember too far back what happened with Wolves, but towards the end, I'm sure it wasn't great, which led to him either leaving or was it getting sacked? I can't remember which one it was.
I think he left, yeah. Hmm.
But even
For,
then,
for
their
me, it's
golden
about
form
for
ran out of
me, for
time.
me, for me. I get that, but for me, it's about regardless of what's going on elsewhere. If he can manage the squad and pick the right squad, and he picks the right selection, that gives you a chance. And that's what I think some fans are sort of looking at, thinking he likes to make substitutions, but he makes them towards the end. Doesn't work sometimes. Like he brings on two or three players with like 10 minutes to go. You know, make the change earlier if you don't think it's working. But I just think transfer window will be interesting. He'll have money to spend. He's got to buy right, and then he's got to see what happens. Just see what happens. But Nuno, I don't. I've got nothing. I think he's been given a chance. He's still got to have that chance. Players have got to step up. West Ham have got to start winning, or they've got to guess. They can't lose tomorrow night. If they lose tomorrow night, that's two home games in a row in the space of 4 days they've lost. That's 6 points disappeared. Even a draw's not really good enough to just have 1 point. Going into that Wolves game, where we've already gone to Molineux and lost in the cup, as I said earlier, we've got to be careful. So we've got to go all out tomorrow to beat Brighton. But then we
I
had a
think
good start
regardless
against.
of the form, the table, the standings, you cannot lose to Wolves. I mean, we all saw
They,
what happened
they
in the
can't draw.
90th
They
minute.
can't
Like you
draw with
saw the
Wolves.
Arsenal game. The calamities that would have happened that night if Arsenal went on to draw that game, it's just not acceptable. It's
Wait,
just
is this the
not.
first? Is this the first? This will be your first meeting with Wolves, right? You haven't played the home game. Is this? You
No,
still have both games to play? Okay,
I believe so. Yeah,
right.
yeah. We must do because we've only won 3 games this year. One was
Oh,
away at, one was away at Forest, and two were at home, Burnley and Newcastle, in the space of a
right.
week.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
So yeah, but but you say that, but then we should have been beating Fulham. We've got Wolves and Forest coming. We've got to beat the teams around us to bring them back into it. There's no point us going to Stamford Bridge in a couple of weeks and having a terrific win if the other teams around us are like. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to make. We've got to take points off the teams that are near us and around us. And we just haven't been. We haven't been doing that. We haven't done that. So you know, we just have to see. We just have to see. But as I said to Sion, you know, earlier on when he talked about doing the podcast today, I said we'll have to make the most of it. But he did remind me we did change the title of the podcast from the Premier League show to the London show, so I still will be hopefully with you next season. Well, that will be interesting. I might have to adopt a Premier League club.
Nah, 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 nah. Right. I'll go next then, Ross. Chelsea, obviously, similar story with us. Like we are in the Premier League, we're having a poor season, to be honest. So, and yeah, our league season's over. We lost a 6 pointer to Villa. That was to like close the gap to them. So we could very well miss out on Champions League football, which is unacceptable for the amount of money we spend, albeit is being spent poorly, in my opinion. Since this new ownership came in, I still don't have a left winger basically I can bank on. I still don't have a striker that can guarantee me 15, 20 goals. Defense, to be honest, that is our best defender's injured. Pretty much the only defender I trusted last season in Colwell, centre back, injured, and there's too much of an over reliance on a very small pool of players like the Reece James, Caicedo, Cole Palmer, Esteval, like the 4 or 5 players I trust Cucurella. They get dragged down in my opinion because of the players around them. Like there's only so much they can do in my opinion as individuals, and yeah, that's why we're inconsistent. And as I've always been saying it since these owners came in, the experience of some of these players that you can't. I've never seen a squad win with all 23-year-olds. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I'm not saying you need to fill the squad with 30-year-olds, but just people in their prime, really, like 27-year-olds, 28-year-olds. We don't even have that. So I saw something, was it a couple of days ago, saying like they're gonna go for an experienced centre back in either January or the summer. They said our January is gonna be quiet, and then it's next summer they're gonna go. But I'll believe it when I see it because I think we're gonna bring. We've got Anselmino on loan, who's been doing well at Dortmund, but I think they're thinking of bringing him back. I don't know. I hope not in January because I want him to get his season loan and build. But I think they're gonna bring him back. We've got a couple other players on loan as well coming back, so I don't think they're gonna actually bring in the quality of players and mix it with sort of older players that we need. So we're going to be in a never-ending cycle. I don't see
So
where the
you,
consistency in the league comes
so,
from.
so you talk about that never-ending cycle there with the players and all of that. Yeah, are
Mm.
you going to suddenly turn into like Arsenal, like they've done with Arteta, and have your
Yeah,
current manager just on a cycle of like never-ending and never getting anywhere, and
yeah.
it's
Well,
going on for too long?
you,
What will
Mhm.
be, regardless of not this season, but it's got to get to the stage maybe at the end of this season where you say to yourselves, what's our priority for next season? Is it the Premier League? Is it whatever European Cup we're in or whatever? And you go for that
Mhm.
because you're just turning into like, with manager wise, you're turning into Arsenal.
Well,
Just sort
I've said,
of not having any consider, like there's nothing happening. And
well,
you
me,
might
I've
win the
looked
odd
at the case
trophy
study.
every year. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not the trophy you want though.
I've seen for me, I've seen the case study of American owners for me. I've seen it with United, successful, obviously winning league titles, and then the Glazers come in, and the only reason they continued winning league titles was because of Sir Alex Ferguson, really. Obviously, he's once in a lifetime. Then obviously you mentioned Arsenal. Kroenkes took over 2, 3 years after the Invincibles, and still 20 years waiting. Liverpool, they came across Jurgen Klopp again, once in a generation, sort of managers in the last 15, 20 years, talking top three easily, well, at least top five managers of all time. So, other than these once in a generation managers, you look at American owners. I've seen them come to the Premier League. They destroy football clubs,
So,
successful
what
football
do you
clubs
want
in
then?
terms of.
Would you rather lose the owners than the manager then?
Oh yeah, I'm not Maresca out. I'm not Maresca out. I think so far in his time at Chelsea, I'm not saying he's got everything right, but I think he's done a decent job. Like if I'm marking him out of like 100, I'll give him like 60, 65%, I think, in his year and a half so far. So I'm not Maresca out at all. Me, it's the ownership I've got a problem with, to be honest, because we've given our like sporting directors like contracts extensions and everything like that. And another thing that I think is a major problem is that we only seem to shop from like clubs we've got sort of like a good network with. Like we're obsessed with like going to Brighton every transfer window. Obviously, Cucurella and Caicedo they've been excellent buys for me in my opinion. But like Buonanotte on loan from Brighton in the summer, like I don't know what all that was about. Then we go for Gittins, for example, who was from like Man City's youth. So we're all like, I tell you, yeah, we got lucky with Cole Palmer. I promise you, these owners, we didn't go and scout Cole Palmer and be like, oh yeah, he's gonna come and do what he's done for us. That was luck. Like if you like it's like basically it's like a clock, a broken clock is right twice a day. So if out of 10, if you're only gonna get 2 players right and then 8 wrong, and then those 8 you need to try and move on in the subsequent transfer windows, and then you get another 2 right, you're still not gonna progress because there's more wrong decisions than right. So yeah, for me it's the owners I've got a problem with, to be honest, and basically the hierarchy, the basically the people above the manager. So yeah, I don't know in terms of like the years coming up. I don't see how we're ever gonna be like sort of challenging. I'm not even saying win the league, but I'm just saying be in the title race. We've not been in the title race since we last won the league 8 years ago, or 9 years ago when we move into 2026. So we're a cup team. We have been for pretty much the past decade. So the domestic cups, whatever European competition we're in, like even Champions League, we're in it. But I remember at the start of the season, I said minimum I said top three, which we're not going to do. I said win a domestic cup, which we potentially still can do. Obviously, in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, and Arsenal and City obviously have got the title, which is obviously the top of their priority. So you never know what teams they're going to play in that. Champions League, I said quarterfinals minimum. I don't really see that either with the state of where we are now. So yeah, we're underachieving this season. We're having a poor season, to be honest, based on obviously the high from winning the Club World Cup in the summer. Came into the season with a lot of high hopes, and that's not reflected in the transfer window. When you look at who we've bought, like with Liam Delap, if he hasn't scored in the Premier League, you know Liam Delap's not scored a goal in the Premier League, and we're halfway through the season. Jackson, who he's replaced, Jackson scored like 14 goals in all comps in his first season. Delap still, I think, only scored once. Is it Barcelona? Maybe he scored in the Carabao Cup. I don't
Barcelona.
remember. So
It
I
was
think he's got
Barcelona.
one goal. So he's not even gonna reach Jackson's levels, who we wanted out. And then in terms of like discipline as well, like the yellow cards, the red cards, they keep coming for us as well. So, but I think that's to do with obviously the age of the squad. We don't have like the players that can basically lead like the likes of like Estevar coming in right now. Who does he look up to in our squad in terms of those that have been there, done it, know how to get through the winter period? We still obviously December's still not finished, but our December, go through our last 5, 6 years, our December's been dreadful. That's killed off most of our seasons. I remember, James, my first time coming to London Stadium. I remember we were there, top of the league in December, lost at West Ham, didn't see top again, finished third. That was too cool season after we won Champions League. Obviously, last Christmas fell off. We were second to Liverpool. Remember, 4 points behind, fell off December. So yeah, it's pretty much is the same story basically every year for us in the league, and then you end up in a top four battle trying to scrape it on the last day of the season. And I guess we're going to be in that. Well, not I guess we will be in that dogfight again. And then we might miss out, might be Europa League, but yeah, I don't know where we go to be honest in terms of until we change our transfer policy, the model, and everything like that. Yeah, we ain't gonna go anywhere, in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting.
Uh,
Interesting because
and yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I'm
So
telling you, American owners, man. I don't. As soon as I knew when, obviously Roman Abramovich, obviously we won't get into all of that. But once I saw American owners coming in, I saw the deja vu already. I was like, oh, I've seen it with United, with Arsenal, with Liverpool. If Liverpool didn't come across Jurgen Klopp, trust me, they will still be waiting for that Premier League title as well. Because Klopp built that squad that obviously Slot inherited to win it as well. So it was Jurgen Klopp's work, even up until their title last season, that was able to shine through. Yeah, that's pretty much it on us. Rosamford, Man United. Good. I mean, narrow
good.
win against Newcastle. I don't know what all them subs were about in the second half. Like Casemiro, I don't know why he got brought off because as soon as he goes off, the onslaught from Newcastle comes. I was confused. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that and United recent form? And then you've got some good fixtures coming up as well.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain. Been in worse positions, literally. Um, when you look on year, we're definitely doing better. I'm still not confident, Amarin, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's gonna take us to that success, that trophy level. I know it's harsh, but like I still can't forgive him for losing to Spurs. Not just Spurs, just the Europa League final. Like we did all of that hard work, get to the final, and then didn't even try in the final. I've seen games this season where we should have gone out and got something, we didn't. I hate to talk about what ifs, but all I heard from the commentators on Friday was what if, what if, what if. I hated it. It was killing me in the inside. What if we beat West Ham? What if we changed our tactics against Everton and won at home? Hindsight, it can be either horrendous or beautiful, but that's the problem. You never know. And I hate to think in hindsight. We're in a good position in the league. If you told me this time last year that we would be fifth, I think what 2 points off Chelsea or 1 point of Chelsea, still far off the top, far, far off. But coming to this season, I didn't even put us. I'll be honest. At best, I put us eighth or ninth. When you look at the teams that should be competing and not are not competing, we're quite fortunate to be in the position we're in. Spurs were awful last season, point blank. But you would think this season they would at least, come back. They haven't. They're still around the 14th, 15th mark. Then you've got Newcastle. They seem to be a bit Jekyll and Hyde. Brilliant in the Champions League, brilliant in the Carabao Cup. Again, as I mentioned in my previous podcast, it just seems like Eddie Howe, his philosophy, his formula is, okay, I can't do it in the league. I have to rely on the one-off games. Get not necessarily get lucky, but he knows that on their day, Newcastle put out their best 11, they can take on a team 90 minutes, 120 minutes, penalties. They know that it's going to get done on that day. 38 days, 38 games over the course of a year. I think that's where he's kind of been a more realistic person. But okay, cool. We're not at that level yet. Let's try and win the small trophies and see where we go
Mm,
from there. And it's worked out for him. I'm not too
mm,
sure in Newcastle or in Champions League, but I'm sure they'll be on course to qualify for the knockout rounds. Got a semi-final, I believe, is against Man City or you guys,
City. No,
yeah,
City,
Man
yeah.
City.
City. So again, like I said, and is it two legs or is it still two legs or one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
two legs.
two legs. So
First
again,
leg
they've
is at
got,
St. James's, second leg at Etihad.
like I said, they've got a chance at home to get the job done and then hold on to that and hold on to it in the second leg. Like hypothetically, they could win 3-0 and lose 2-0 at Etihad. It doesn't matter in the final.
Mm.
They've got a strong fan base. They've got a good stadium. They know teams will struggle when they go up north. They can get the job done. But when
Mm,
you look at Man United and I look at this and I'm thinking, are we there yet? These are teams that should be, competing with the likes of, I don't expect Villa to be third or even 3 points off Arsenal, but yet there they are. You
yeah.
have the likes of Forest, Bournemouth that were competing last season. They're not exactly there. So I think we're very fortunate. I don't think we got there by luck, but when you look at each team and see how they've got there, it's just like Man United just got there. It's not because of, if you think about the results wise, we lost to Arsenal at home, lost to City away. Fair enough, we beat Liverpool at home. Sorry, we beat Liverpool away,
Mhm.
but everyone was beating Liverpool. That was that phase.
Mm,
If you didn't go to Anfield or if you didn't face Liverpool and didn't win 3 points, that was a massive missed opportunity.
Mm.
Lost to Villa, um,
Well, Everton at home, 10 men.
Everton at home. But I'm saying if you work your way down in terms of the teams that are above us,
Oh,
the
yeah.
only team we've beaten is you guys. And how did we win that game? You guys going down to 10 men.
Mm.
It's not exactly ideal. And then, like you said, Sion, if you look at our other results, when you compare it, like Everton at home, 10 men should have never lost. I don't care what you say. Like it could be Barcelona 09, 10, 10, 11. Like you don't go down 10 men at home and lose that game. And it's not
mm.
like they scored and then they went down to 10 men. They went to 10 men and then they scored.
That was mad. You know what? That was obviously we do our
That was an
predictions,
early
right?
card as well, an early card, wasn't it?
You know what's my remember? I don't know if you remember. That was a Monday night. Yeah, I saw the Everton red card. I was rubbing my hands because I had 2-0 United and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, Everton shouldn't score now because I think I had 2-0 for 5 points. That was a 5 pointer, and then I
Mm,
see 1-0 down. I'm like, what? I'm like, what's
yeah.
going on here? What's
I
going
think,
on? I got a
I think,
question, but after you, James. Yeah, go
oh,
on.
yeah, sorry, Sil. No, because I think Mustafa, you made two valid points I want to pick up on, right? Because I'm looking at the league table now. You got Chelsea in fifth, you're sixth, same points, 29. But if
Hmm.
both of you lose the next round of games and other teams win, you could go drop down as far as 10th or 11th.
Mad, innit? It's mad.
There's 3 points between the team in fifth and the team in 10th, and the team in 10th is Fulham. Spurs are on 25 points, Everton 25, Newcastle on 23 points.
Hmm.
And you made an Eddie Howe. That's why a lot of people fancied Eddie Howe to be the England manager, because you summed him up in that description you said about Eddie Howe perfectly. And that's why he would be a good England manager, because he's a cup manager, he's a tournament manager. He won't win anything over a course of 38 games, right?
Mm.
Because he relies on his assistant, I can't think of his name now, and the other guy who's on his coaching team, who's not part of the England setup and all that as well, when Southgate was there. And you're right about going up north, he win most of his home games and he'll survive. And that's why they were desperate to win that League Cup when they first should have won it, and then they won it the second time last
Mm.
year, and they could win it again. But your summary of Eddie Howe was perfect, because is Eddie Howe similar to your current manager at Man United? Are they both similar managers? That they're good, very good, good at coaching, good at getting results, but not consistent enough at Premier League level. Your manager, what's his name? I can never get it right.
Hammering.
Aaron.
Amorim.
He came from the Portugal league, didn't he? Well, Eddie Howe could go to the Portugal league and win that easily. We know that. So your summary of Eddie Howe is exactly how I see your manager at Man United. And I just think the league table, your Chelsea are fifth and sixth, and you're sixth. You could be 10th and 11th this time Thursday. You
Yeah.
know, if other result, and that's how that league table is ridiculous. And you're talking about Aston Villa. I just looked at them; they're 10 points clear of Chelsea and Man United.
Yep.
That top three is ridiculous, and you've got Liverpool sitting in the middle on 32 points. So it's like the top three are away, the bottom three are stranded, and the middle, depending on what week the season finishes, depends where you finish. You know,
Mm.
if the season finished now, it's perfect for Chelsea, Man United. If it finishes next week, it'd be good for Fulham and
Yeah.
Brentford. Brentford, look at
I've,
Brentford. It's
I-
ridiculous.
I've got a question for Ross. So obviously, it's similar to sort of where the lines James is talking about now with the table. But I look at United next three fixtures, right? Obviously, no game's easy. We know that. But you look, if you let's say at the start of the
We
season,
need
right?
you
If
to
you had
win
to,
them. We need you to win them,
yes,
please.
yeah,
We
no,
need you to
oh
win
yeah,
them.
yeah. So obviously, if you were to cherry pick and say like, oh, give me like a 3 or 4 game run, you want Wolves, you want Leeds, you want Burnley. So obviously, if you win those 3 games,
Please, I'll
right?
have my haircut. I'll get my haircut if you win them all, please. I'll shave
So
my beard off. I'll shave my
obviously,
beard off if you win all three, please.
from a Man United perspective, right? You know that if that's 9 points, you know the teams in and around. We're not going to win all our games. So I would guess if United won those three games, you'll be fourth probably. So would that be make you more optimistic for finishing like top four, where especially no one can go on a run really to
No,
save their lives
no chance.
from
The
no?
reason I say this in is we had it. If we're gonna like just quickly come back to the situation with the 5 games in a row haircut, we had the perfect opportunity to get 5 wins in a row. We
Yeah.
fumbled it.
Mm,
We generally fumbled it. Should have beaten
mm,
Spurs. Should have beaten Everton. We didn't.
mm.
Forest,
Forest.
we were sloppy. But then again, Forest was the second game after Liverpool. Okay, cool. You've restart on Spurs. Didn't happen. For me, I'm glad like the topic, the conversation around the 5 in a row, the I think the United lad or Strand, whatever his name
Mhm.
is died down because there's not that pressure anymore. But
Mm,
ultimately, there were games that we should have won. Again, we're talking in hindsight. Look at how many teams we could have spoken about in hindsight today. Liverpool, like they were first. Come on, guys, are we forgetting they were running away with the league at one point?
mm,
4 games in a row, or what it was that they lost, and then boom, they're down. But then again, picked up a few odd points here and there, beat Villa, beat Wolves. Suddenly they're now, top four. That it's like no one ever thought about whatever happened. Kind of giving me the reminder of is it 1920? When City kind of fell, but then they managed to still survive it, resurrect their season with finishing third, despite their poor string of results. Something like that, you look at us, like I said, look at how many points we dropped. 2 against West Ham, 3 against Everton. I could go on a list how many games we should have won. But again, it's hindsight. We can't think in hindsight. I would love to be optimistic. I would love to come on here and say with chest, we're gonna beat Wolves. I'm not confident for Wolves. I'm sorry, but I can't. I looked at
Well,
my attack. I looked
I
at my
would,
attack on Friday. Horrendous, abysmal. I
but
see
you need to
Dogu. I
win.
see Dogu flying down the wing. I see no support. I don't see anyone. Honestly, Xerxes. Honestly, Xerxes was on the pitch, right? He did the same thing I did at home watching the game, but he got paid for it. That was the only difference. I envy him for that. I honestly envy that he got to just stand there and do what I did. F all. Did nothing that game. He was watching it. He was just there. He didn't even
Well,
pay for a ticket.
the Southampton, I would be so happy if you win all three,
Right, right.
I
I've
would
got
love to, honestly.
So
please.
before we move on to before we move on to the like final topic, Ross. So from here, where do you think United finish in the league? Obviously, you said start of the season you had eighth, ninth, but seeing the state
Sixth.
of the tape,
Sixth.
sixth.
I
Okay.
see no, in no particular order. Arsenal, Man City. I want to keep
This
Villa in there. I
this
want
is
to
where
keep Villa in
I'm glad
there.
you mentioned. So obviously this is our last topic, and
Well, well,
James, go on. What were you going to
well,
say, James?
we're going to talk about the league and where Man United finished. Can we just remind people? People seem to think none of us, maybe one of us, seem to think that Arsenal are romping this table, and all of a sudden, City have got close,
Yes.
Villa have got close.
When you
And
compare it,
what's
guys,
happened here, Arsenal?
Villa
I
are on
was talking
11
to
games in a
Arsenal
row.
fans a month ago, and they were saying they're winning the title. Please, come
City in
on,
the rearview mirror.
come on.
What's it? So I've got the final topic obviously is like title race, mostly Aston Villa, right? So I put a question saying how long will Villa remain in
Oh,
this sort of race? I'll go first. I don't know. I might actually be the only one.
Yeah,
I
just before you
think.
continue,
Yep. Yep. Go on.
I'm not going to answer this question this week. The reason I'm saying this,
Right.
Tuesday
They're
night.
playing tomorrow.
Is it
They're
tomorrow
playing
night? Sorry,
tomorrow.
time is going. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That will decide it for me.
it's
Right.
Arsenal Villa tomorrow, isn't it?
Arsenal Villa
At
Yes.
Arsenal.
tomorrow.
At
Yes.
Arsenal.
At
A
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
repeat of the game from a few weeks ago.
Yep. So I'll yeah.
If Villa can get anything from it,
Hmm.
but I still think they'd be in the top three.
You think so? This is where I'm probably going to surprise you, right? So I think Villa, when the Europa League knockout stages come, you look at like sort of the history of Aston Villa, right? In terms of one of England's most successful clubs, so they're more successful than Spurs. They've won 7 leagues, they've won the European Cup and everything like that, but they haven't won a trophy since 1996. So it's 30 years now, which for Villa is probably you say that's poor. So I think when the Europa League comes, the knockout stages, I think Unai Emery is going to actually prioritize that because they've got the buffer in the league and deliver them their first trophy. Because I think if you put an Aston Villa, if you told an Aston Villa fan finish third or win the Europa League and get Champions League that way, I think they're all signing up for the Europa League. They've got top four under Emery, twice, definitely once. It might be twice, I don't know. But I actually think this might be sound crazy, but I actually think Liverpool are gonna finish third. I actually think Liverpool will overtake them, and I think Villa will finish fourth. Because
I
I think
agree.
they're building up that buffer. Because where they are now, even if they have a shaky second half of the season, I don't see them dropping below fourth. But because they've got that obviously 10 point gap, as James mentioned earlier, so I don't think they're actually gonna stay with like Arsenal, Man City, and I don't even think they finish third. I think Liverpool do.
See, I agree with everything you said. Liverpool will, in my opinion, finish above Villa, but for one other reason. Game week 37 and game week 38. Villa have the two toughest fixtures any team can ask for, which is, I believe, Liverpool at home or away, and a City at home or away.
Ooh,
Whoa.
That is their last two
Yo.
fixtures.
yeah, bloody hell. That's
That is
Yo.
the two hardest fixtures, and I think that's where it's going to come down to.
You
That
know,
will be the decider, in my
so we
you
opinion.
can
know,
agree then. We can agree then. We think the top four ain't going to change.
well, other than Liverpool and Villa swapping places,
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean.
yeah,
The
yeah,
top four teams that are currently
yes,
in the top four,
yeah,
that will stay the same.
yeah.
But we're thinking that Villa will end up fourth and
That's
Liverpool,
what.
and
Can
Okay.
we're
you imagine?
thinking
Yeah.
City winning, Arsenal second.
Oh well, but can you imagine? Right?
What?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine City like they? You know they're 2 points clear. They're going into that last game. Arsenal need a favor from Unai Emery, and Villa have got the Europa League final coming up.
Is that
Resting
the last
everyone.
game of the season? What?
I
No, hang
believe
on.
so.
He's saying,
Let me
no,
just
no.
fact check it.
I'm saying, can you imagine Arsenal need a favor from Unai Emery, who's playing Man City in the last game, and Villa? Imagine Villa in the Europa League final, and they've got top four. So
Arsenal fans will be saying they'd have to go to the. It's
Okay, so
against the
Man
rules
City
to
are at
play
home
City.
against Villa, and we all know what happened 2 years
oh,
ago.
Villa will
22,
play a
21,
second
22,
sprint, a
21, 22,
second
isn't it? Yeah,
season. Oh, I love it.
And
that
then
is
obviously game
mad.
week 37, Villa are at home to Liverpool.
Who do Arsenal have last game? Who do Arsenal have?
Palace away.
Oh,
It's not ideal.
that's
Yeah.
mad. I didn't know City were playing Villa last game. That's mad. And who do Liverpool have?
Last game they have Brentford at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair, fair. But yeah, that's my sort of my thing on Villa. Villa fans, I'm telling you, if you told them just do, unless they're going to win the Premier League, right? If they're doing a Leicester, then of course they'll be like, yeah, been in the Europa League, but you don't know that here, right now. If they're playing, hedging their bets, um,
If you
or
can
based on
finish the top
probability,
four, if you can finish top four, win the Europa League, that's fantastic. Villa
yeah.
fans
Even
are
if you told Villa fans they're falling off to fifth, fifth, sixth, and they give them the Europa League, they'll
well,
say
if the
thank you
Europa
very much.
League gets you in the Champions League, does that still get you in the
Yes, yes,
Champions League?
yep.
Is that rule still there? Yeah.
Yep, yep, it's still there. And then obviously This is the 30. We're entering the 30th year now since Villa's last trophy. They won the League Cup in 1996. The Villa, look at everything they've won.
It's nearly as long as Arsenal winning a trophy, isn't it?
Oh, but yo, I want
We
just
could end on that. We could end on that little
that would be
carrot.
this Unai Emery fifth Europa League. Arsenal don't win anything again. Oh, I'll be there, man. For me, Unai Emery, if you look at his CV, his body of work, he's got the second best CV in the league after Pep Guardiola. Like he does. I know Slot. He's obviously won the league. He's won one league. He's won the league at Liverpool. But I'm talking whole career, the whole like the longevity and
Here's a
everything like that.
question
Emery's
for
been
you.
top man.
Sion will know the answer to this. But Santham, I reckon you will know the answer to this. But the answer is I don't have because I can't remember. Did he go from Arsenal to Villa?
No.
Uh,
Did he have a
Unai Emery.
club?
No. He won the Europa League in between. He won the Europa League with Villarreal. Beat
Right.
Arsenal he beat Arteta in the semi-final of that
Yeah.
tournament and
Yeah.
United in the final.
Yeah.
Because
Because he's not been at Villa that long, has he?
no, he took
Third
over Villa
season,
in
maybe.
the end of 2022. So it was the 22-23 season around like October
Mm.
It
22,
was
and his
just
first
before the
game was
World Cup.
United.
It was
Yeah,
just
yeah, just
before the
before the
World
World
Cup.
Cup, 2 months before the World Cup. His first game was, I
He's
remember,
done very
United.
well. He's done very well. He's done very well with them
Yeah, yeah.
on the
So
budget and all that. And
yeah, remember, and then there were obviously in the summer. I don't think they didn't have he didn't get the transfer window he wanted, and then season started, and there were like rumors of him being a bit like unhappy, obviously with the summer. His job, like people were saying, his job was like under threat and everything, and like look at
But the
them
thing
now.
is, his job was under the line. I can't remember how many games it was precisely, but they didn't score a single goal.
Yeah, didn't score in their
Again,
first
it just comes
four or
back to my
five.
point of being
First five.
hindsight. Imagine if
mm,
Villa got those points in those games. They could
true.
have been
Yeah,
clear. They could have been clear right now.
yeah, it's true, it's true. Yeah,
They
Right.
could have
Well,
been clear.
but yeah,
a lot of football over the next week.
yeah,
100%
and
A
then we'll
lot of
be
football, and who knows what that table will be looking like.
yeah. Obviously,
It's,
this will be the last podcast of the year. So, yep, take care, everyone. Like, subscribe, and
yeah,
share. And we'll be
Happy New
back in
Year.
the new year
Take care.
to
Happy New
review
Year.
the upcoming games. Take care.
Take